You were around during the PS2, Xbox, or GameCube era, there's no shortage of video game tie-in movies, especially for kids movies. And while most of them are just shovelware garbage, there are actually a few movie tie-in games that try to be like direct sequels to movies. It's always weird to me because it's like, why don't you just make an actual sequel to the movie? But I mean, at the same time, it is probably just cheaper to just pay for the license to use fucking Scarface or The Incredibles or whatever and just get a cheap cash grab movie and just give it to some random ass studio. I usually notice this is done with kids movies because it's probably just easier to make a sequel to them. This was done with A Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge, which was released on the original Xbox and PS2 in 2004. Actually, funnily enough, while this video is going up, the game itself is actually turning 20 by the time this video gets uploaded, which I didn't do on purpose, by the way. It's just really funny coincidence that this happens to be that way. Honestly, making a kids game about Nightmare Before Christmas kind of seems like a no-brainer, and a sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas is something that would be cool to see. If they were to release the game, honestly, 2004 would probably be the best time to release it, considering that the movie blew up around this time, like with Hot Topic and shit. Like, you knew everyone back then had like Jack Skellington hoodies and like a bunch of like Nightmare Before Christmas merchandise. Already been shown 2 years prior that Nightmare Before Christmas would translate really well into a game, as we've seen with Kingdom Hearts literally releasing, like I said, 2 years prior to this game's release and having a Nightmare Before Christmas world. That world also being one of my favorite levels in Kingdom Hearts to begin with. I love whenever they do Nightmare Before Christmas in that. Also, the main reason this game is known is because of the developer of this game being Capcom, and this game commonly being compared to Devil May Cry in terms of gameplay, which is just crazy. This is like the most 2000s video game ever. You got Capcom, and this game is apparently a Devil May Cry clone. This game is probably like awesome. There's no way that this game could suck, right? Well, we got bad news. This game kind of blows. Which sucks because Devil May Cry and Nightmare Before Christmas, like, it would make sense. This probably makes the most sense to make this type of game out of Nightmare Before Christmas. Just both Devil May Cry and Nightmare Before Christmas had that like edgy 2000s goth vibe to both of them. So I think it honestly wouldn't be that bad, but it didn't turn out well. Before we get into that, I'm just gonna explain the story of this game real quick. It's not that long or even convoluted at all. Basically, since the first movie, a year has passed and Jack gets bored again and he goes out, leaves Halloween Town, and then he's gone and he can't do shit about it. These minions come back and revive Oogie, and then he takes over Halloween Town again, and then Jack comes back and then he has to deal with it. It's literally like, first of all, okay, one, did he not learn his lesson from the first movie? Like, the whole conflict was because he just left Halloween Town and left it completely unattended in the first movie. But I mean, hey, we have to have a reason for the game to start, you know what I mean? And the story isn't really important in a hack and slash game. It's more just the gameplay and the game itself, and the story comes second. So let's just see how the game is itself. Yeah, Halloween Town is basically just overrun with a bunch of enemies and you have to take them out. This time Jack has this thing called a soul robber, which is basically this like weird sticky hand toy essentially that you can just whack demons with. You could either like stun them and then pick them up and throw them and slam them into the ground, and that's really it with the combat. There's nothing else to it. You can dodge, and the dodge is funny because it reminds me of Bayonetta. Like, you literally do like the Bayonetta front flips when you do a dodge. You do the thing where if you keep spamming it a bunch of times, you do like a little like final backflip animation. You can also use the soul robber to pick up like random objects, only certain objects. You can't pick up like random crates. The only thing you can do with the crates are just break them open to get more money. Around the map, there's these glowing green areas which you can use your soul robber to traverse throughout the map and enter secret areas or just other areas that like you normally can't get to because you can't jump in this game, which is really weird. I don't know why, and that's also a problem because the only reason you really need to jump in this game is to get certain coins. Like, if you kill airborne enemies, I don't know why, you just can't get them. Like, they're just floating above your head, which is really fucking stupid. Unless I'm just missing something, maybe you can grab them with the soul robber, but you can't get the coins. They're just literally floating above your head. The game itself also takes place in like a linear open world environment, meaning that it's open to an extent. You could kind of explore around Halloween Town and other areas, but you can't go too far. It's not like a full Mario 64 type deal. You're only like restricted to this confined space. There is objectives you have to do. Like, there are mission structures features like Devil May Cry, where you're in the mission, but you can freely explore the mission, although there's not really a point to, because there's not much to collect anyway, and the longer you spend in the level, it will lower your ranking, which, yeah, this game also, again, like Devil May Cry, get used to me saying that. This game has rankings, which it's literally like exactly how it is in Devil May Cry. Your combo rating, how fast you complete the level, your deaths, all of that gets tallied up at the end, and the better you do, the more points you get at the end, which will give you more money. And it'll also unlock the main collectible of the game after beating each mission. If you get an A rank or higher in levels, you'll get a little statue which you can view in Jack's house. As I said before, there's not really much to the combat outside of like just spamming the same square, triangle attacks, but like not even in a cool way, because square only does a little bit of damage, so you're gonna be like slamming your opponents. But the thing is, you can only slam them a certain amount of times before you have to re-grab them again, which is just gets really repetitive. All the enemies too have like giganormous health. I don't know why they take so long to just die. You can upgrade your damage in the shop, and also in the shop you can buy different items similar to Devil May Cry crystals that are just like temporary upgrades you can just use mid-combat. The worst part about the combat of the game though is definitely the camera. Holy shit, the camera is so ass. It's at fixed angles, similar again to Devil May Cry, except with Devil May Cry, you could at least turn the camera a little bit to help you. No, in this game, you're literally stuck, and it's really bad in a multi-layered area. Like, if you are fighting multiple enemies and you walk off screen, like, just a little bit, the camera will automatically turn to, like, a certain position, and you literally can't see certain enemies. And if they have, like, projectiles, you'll just get hit by enemies that you literally can't even see. It's so bad. So the dodge button is kind of pointless. You don't even go that far, and you can spam it multiple times. There's no invincibility to it, and you can't even like do a perfect dodge or anything like that. Like, you're just gonna get hit regardless, so you just have to preemptively wait for enemies to attack first and then attack them. And it's like really annoying, because you would think you could just attack certain enemies at certain points, but no, they'll just get hit. And speaking of the projectile enemies again, you're in a lot of end lag when you use your soul robber. So if you whiff your attack, which you're gonna be doing a lot, because the soul robber, despite being a literal like whip, is stupidly bad with range. Like, you'll just not be able to hit enemies, and sometimes because of the camera, I literally can't tell if I'm hitting an enemy or not. Yeah, imagine you're stuck in end lag because you're just fighting one enemy at a time. You can't pick up multiple enemies. You can hurt multiple enemies by slamming them into each other, but still, if there's multiple enemies, especially ones with projectiles, you're gonna be in the middle of trying to kill this one dude because it takes forever to do so, and then you're just getting pelted by everyone else. Like, look at this scene with the ghost that I'm in. These ghosts are literally jumping me, and I can't do anything, and they keep spawning in. To be fair, this is an area I'm probably not supposed to be in yet, and I figured that out later, but still, I literally can't escape, and I end up dying. I'm not gonna be dying a lot, because this game is pretty easy, but I did die a few times, mainly due to just, like I said, the actual camera killing me, not being able to see where I'm going half the time. That's the main issue with this game. If this game literally just had better camera controls, it'd be pretty decent at least, but it's the fact you can't see shit. Got to a point with the combat where I kind of just ran past enemies, because it's not like Devil May Cry where like you're locked in a room with them and you're forced to kill them to progress. No, you could literally just run past the enemies and not have to fight them at all, which, I mean, you might not get a good grade for it, but it's better than just fighting them, because it's really just annoying and repetitive. Yeah, sorry for being so negative on this game. It just, there's a lot that just pisses me off, but I will say something positive soon, so don't worry. Music. Oh my god, the music. Okay, this game, I know it's Nightmare Before Christmas, it's a musical, and it's kind of impressive they got like to use most of the songs from the movie, but holy shit, this is not the type of music for this type of game. Like, I don't know. An action game where fights are gonna go on a while, or they're just like repetitive, like you're gonna be getting into a lot of fights and encounters with music with lyrics, especially like sing-songy type music where it's a lot of lyrics. Oh my god, and it just keeps repeating over and over and over again. I mean, I'm not even that big of a fan of musicals. I could take them in small doses, but every time I get into a fight, hearing "This Is Halloween" over and over is so annoying, because it just keeps restarting. And same with the bosses. I didn't even mention this. The bosses, it's just like the musical parts of the game are the boss fights. Like, you and the boss will both be singing, and that's the whole point. And how you even defeat the bosses, you have to keep smacking them and get music notes that come out of them. And then you enter a rhythm game section. I'm not even kidding. You enter a little rhythm game. And the better you do in those sections, the more damage they do. And that already is kind of repetitive because the boss doesn't just have a normal health bar. You just have to keep smacking them until you get enough music notes, and then you do your musical little section. But the songs loop. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't know. And there's not a lot of, like, unique game music. I mean, there is, but it's outside of combat, which is horrible. Why not just have it, like, after the song ends, it'll just be the musical version of the song. Like, the characters will just keep repeating the actual lyrical full version of the song over and over, and especially of how long these bosses take to beat. It's just so annoying. Like, I was getting a migraine. Don't have a problem with songs that have lyrics in games. Obviously, I like Devil May Cry. Most of the battle themes have lyrics, and like same with like Guilty Gear and like Persona. All the battle themes have lyrics, and even in those I do get a little tired of it, but I don't mind it in those because the style of, like, it's meant to be repeated. Like, it doesn't get that annoying in those types of games. Like, usually, like, most of the background noise from like you fighting or doing whatever in those games kind of drowns out the like lyrics of the music, so you're not just hearing that constantly. And yeah, I'm sorry I can't show examples of the music because I will literally get copyright striked, but you can probably just imagine. Just look up gameplay for yourself. Now, the thing I was gonna say about the game that's actually good, I really like how the game looks. I think it matches the vibe of the movie really well, and especially for a PS2 game, it looks really good. I mean, I am playing it like slightly upscaled on an emulator, obviously. I'm not playing on original hardware. I do think the game still looks pretty damn good, and even the PS2's like built-in, like, what's it called? Like, it being lower quality in general just makes the game look better because the game's like really foggy, and I like the colors a lot. I like the orangish, like, it's just perfect Halloween colors, obviously, but it's just really good looking still. Unfortunately though, it's only in Halloween Town because this game, for some reason, even though it's a sequel, and this would probably be what we would want from a sequel to this movie, you can't go to other towns. Like, you can't even go to Christmas Town. I mean, I understand maybe not the other holidays, but you can't go to Christmas Town in this Nightmare Before Christmas movie. Again, even Kingdom Hearts lets you go to Christmas Town, but yeah. Another thing that's annoying is that you get this health flask type thing that you have to refill if you want to get back to full health. Okay, that makes sense, right? Problem, the fountain you need to refill it is all the way back in Halloween Town. So if you're in the middle of a level, you have to go all the way back, refill your bottle, and you're gonna be like losing a lot of health because of, like I said, just random bullshit. So you have to keep filling up this bottle, and it's like really fucking annoying. And using this bottle and any other item, like pulling up the pause menu, takes so long. Like, look at this. I'm gonna show you how long it takes. It's so disgusting. I don't know why it takes this long. Speaking of taking long, another thing that's just fucking annoying, to save your game, you have to talk to this dude, and he's just he's in every level, but you just have to find him. It takes so long to save because you have to talk to him, and you have to listen to what he says every time, and depending on the level, every level he has a new thing of dialogue, and you can't skip it after the first time. You have to just listen to him say it over and over, man. But yeah, honestly, this game is just rough, man. Like, it could have been good. Like, I feel like if they genuinely remaster this game, not remake, there's no way they're remaking it at all, but if they just remastered it and re-released it, I think this game would be good. This game would be like a cult classic type of game. It's just, there's just so much wrong with it, and it's crazy to think that Capcom made this. That's gonna be it for this video. Let me know what you think of this game down below. I don't really know. Like, maybe you like it. I don't like it, obviously, if you couldn't tell. Let me know if I was being too hard or if this is all just a giant skill issue. But one last thing, remember, if you're doing any type of important thing, like a document, a project, video, anything, always remember this.
Don't forget. Save it now, or risk doing it again.